again. Trip Slayton will punt it away. High punt. That's going to hit at the 48-yard line and bounce backwards. And that should be grabbed at about the 47-yard line in Georgia territory. And Florida will take over. So back-to-back possessions. Florida has had the ball inside Georgia territory. Been unable to score. This will be 3 straight possessions. Again, assuming you are counting the change of possession from the punt and the recovered fumble. Either way, a minimum of 2, 3 if you want to count that one, as possession started inside Georgia territory and still nothing on the board. Ryan Anthony under center. He'll work the shotgun. Correction, that's going to be Williams. Williams rolls to his left, and he is swallowed up, nowhere to go. And he looked like he almost slipped on the turf. But Justin instead, credit for the sack. Stead, 6'3", 230 from Kennesaw Mountain High School. Again, a junior, the All-County and a first-team All-Region player this year with an offer from Troy University. A young man that you are going to see a lot of this game and hopefully we'll be seeing on Saturdays here pretty soon. Receiving core moves back to get on the line of scrimmage. Quick drop, looking for somewhere to go. Steps up in the pocket, nowhere to go. And churns his legs to try and get some yardage back. Still going to end up being shy of the line of scrimmage. And moves it now to about 3rd and 8. So 3rd down and 18. And double sticks. And Florida pushed back into their own territory. Ryan Anthony comes in. He passes over the top, has a man and a catch at the 35-yard line. Keyshawn Davia up over the top of the defender, grabs it and comes down, survives the hit. Great catch. And that'll be a 1st down for Team Florida. And what a catch by that young man. Anthony scrambles to his left, still looking. And a reception, at least good for a couple of yards. And that pass caught by, again, Keyshawn Davia. So he is working Davila in here quite a bit. Davia, a defensive back listed on the roster from Hillsborough High School. Also played wide receiver, 11 receptions, 116 yards this year for Hillsborough. And a player that's going to be used on both sides of the ball for Florida here. Under 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. A little bit of momentum for Team Florida. Quick pass out to the right side in the flat, nowhere to go. Good tackle in space by Eric Jones III. That'll be 3rd down and manageable, about 3rd and 6, and that will likely take us to the end of the first quarter. Don't seem to be any rush by the teams. They're going to work to their sidelines, and we will hit zeros on the clock. So end of 1, no score. Florida driving 3rd and 6, and we'll be back on SUV TV. Welcome back to the Feltram Sports Complex in Haines City, Florida. You're watching the Underclassmen Showcase between Team Georgia and Team Florida on SUV TV. I'm Graham McGowan. Thanks for hanging out with us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. So Team Florida driving. They are in the white jerseys and white pants. Team Georgia in blue. We'll flip sides of the field as we change quarters. So now Florida will move from our left to our right on your screen. And the wind is certainly whipping out there. Both streamers on the goalpost on both end zones coming in towards the middle of the field, so the wind is definitely moving. Anthony, a 5-step drop, and the play blown dead immediately. And a false start called on the offense. So not what Florida needed. That is probably going to put them behind the initial line of scrimmage stick. It sure will. So now 3rd down and 12 for Team Florida. Ball at the 39-yard line. So a 3-receiver set on the high side for Florida. Ryan Anthony, the quarterback, drops back, looking, steps up into the pocket, looking for somewhere to go. Quick sidearm pass, a la Patrick Mahomes. And that pass caught by McGuire Neal. Going to be enough the 21-yard line for a 1st down, and McGuire Neal coming in at the last second to make that catch. And a great job by that young man. Keeps the drive alive for Team Florida, something they certainly needed. Looking downfield again. A lot of scrambling. And a grab of the ankles, and down goes the quarterback. Cassidy Deans working through the defense and able to get in there and wrap up Ryan Anthony's legs, bring him down. And a great play by the 5'10" defensive lineman from Wilcox County. The junior first-team all-region Cassidy Deans. Big play there. Anthony once again stopping back, drops. Good pass on a rope, caught by Cody Wasilewski. At least going to get him back to, at least close to the original line of scrimmage, back to the 21-yard line. So 3rd and 10 once again. Florida having to kind of work behind the 8-ball a little bit, but trying to come up with something to keep this drive alive. They have pulled a rabbit out of their hat a couple of times now, and they're going to try and do it another time and keep this thing going. Wasilewski from Royal Palm Beach High School, a 4.0 GPA junior, first-team all-county. Anthony rolling to his right and caught. What a play in open space by Justin Ested. Defender, the offensive lineman just could not keep him off. And really, Anthony kind of ran out of his lineman's block. Dalton Lyons had a hand on him, but really nothing they could do once Ested got free. And again, showing you why that offer from Troy University is out there for that young man from Kennesaw Mountain High School. So once again, Robert Hammond III will try for the field goal, a 48-yarder. Takes his time, lines it up, big kick, has some distance to it, and that field goal's good. So Hammond with the first points of the game. A 4.5-star athlete by Coles out of Seminole Ridge High School. And that leg on display. He goes 1 for 2 so far. And the first crooked number of the day goes to Florida. And while we have a moment here in the game, a reminder as well, today's game is brought to you by the Blue Chip High School All-American game at AT&T Stadium. All-American weekend will consist of the HBCU College All-American game, the Blue Chip High School Senior All-American game, and the National Underclassmen Showcase, all taking place in January 2022. To nominate a player for the game, go to n-p-f-a.com. Please make sure the dashes are in there, n-p-f-a.com, to nominate a player for the Blue Chip High School All-American game coming in January of 2022. So another great opportunity for young high school talent to be seen, to have a great time. This is another one of those great opportunities here as we have the Underclassmen Showcase for you today. Hope that you are joining us after you did on Martin Luther King Day on the 18th as we had the senior showcase. High kick towards the end zone and will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. And a clap from Hammond III. And Georgia will take over, and we'll start at the 20-yard line. So 3-0 here, 12 minutes left in the first half. Still playing 15-minute quarters. Some modified rules, such as we've seen so far, but for the most part, normal high school rules. On the bright side, not a whole lot of flags so far, only one major penalty, and that was taken care of and handled very well by our officiating crew. And a clap of the hands, handoff on a blast right up the middle and dropped. That was Jalen Michael with be a 2 or 3 yard rush. Donovan Hoskins back under center. Michael from Statesboro High School, a junior, first team all-region this year. And he will stay in the game. This time he will work on Hoskins' left hip. Another clap of the hands. Hoskins going to keep it this time. Great play. Breaks through contact, though. Ball comes loose, and a helmet comes off. And does Team Florida have it? Waiting for the signal. No one has stopped the clock. No one's made a sign. I see a flag on the field, so we've got a little bit of everything so far. And a great job by the Florida defense to stay home. Caden Ingram you saw inside right off the left tackle. And now let's see what our referee has. We have a helmet-to-helmet contact called on Florida. And that is going to keep the ball in the hands of Team Georgia. So a big penalty as the helmet came off. Now, when the helmet is forced off, if it is by helmet-to-helmet contact, the player is not required to come out for a play. Something else very important to note, depending on who that player was. So Georgia retains possession. Quarterback keeper once again, and the exact same result as the last time. Huge play by the defense, and they were not at all caught off guard. And Chris Martin in there with the tackle. So Georgia once again works behind the sticks, 2nd down and 12. Pass across the middle, picked off! And dropped at midfield, Khalid Conway with the interception, and Team Florida shows up. An ill-fated pass from the get-go. You see Conway stays right in the middle of the field, never saw him. Did the quarterback Hoskins, and right into his hands. And Florida takes over on the interception, their second forced turnover of the day. Florida with Jacavian Williams under center. A pitch out to the left side. And slipping on the turf and down is Preston Strope. Just unlucky there, trying to turn upfield. Still had the defense on him, but couldn't keep his footing. And we see that every now and again on these turf fields. Strope from Creekside High School, the all-First Coast team this year. Led Class 7A in touchdowns, number 2 in rushing. So a young man that certainly can move, get upfield, and gain yards in a hurry. Had 1,351 rushing yards, 21 touchdowns, and finished top 25 in the state in total rush yards. They'll pitch him again to the left, trying to turn the corner. He's got nowhere to go. Great job by the defense, really not giving him anywhere to really turn upfield and move. That was Shelton Lewis on the initial pursuit. And they really held him on a lot of east to west, so a lot of yardage he ran, but didn't get much as far as the field goes. So the 165 DB from Stockbridge High School, Shelton Lewis, really contained that run and keeps it 3rd down and 13 for Florida. Once again, they're going to go into a 4-receiver set, and he's going to put, wow, he's going to go ahead and move the running back out. So looking for somewhere to go, calling for a receiver, trying to get out somewhere, has to keep it himself, and forced out of bounds just beyond midfield at the 48-yard line. So good defense down the field by Team Georgia. A coverage play right there, and that's going to keep Florida at a 4th and long and most likely require a punt. I see Monte Gilliard coming in, but I also see Jacavian Williams coming back onto the field. So maybe they are going to give it a shot. All right. Little aggressive football for Team Florida. Fakes the handoff. Got a good block. Airs it down the field. Has one-on-one coverage. And that ball is picked off by Shelton Lewis of Georgia. Pass intended for Kashawn Davia, but a flag on the play at the line of scrimmage. And it came, I think, from the umpire, so might we have, that's usually indicative of a holding call. And if so, I would think, no, they're going to call a personal foul on Georgia. Not sure what the personal foul is. So that should be enough for a 1st down. And you have the possibility there that it could be some kind of helmet contact. It could be a high-low block, a chop block, multiple options there where an umpire who pretty much is working on the interior line. So the offensive defensive line is what that official's job description is during a play like that. He's looking to see any holdings, anything that may happen like that. And at the end, maybe looking for an ineligible man downfield. So with all we get from our official, we know we've got a 15-yarder. And even though it isn't an automatic 1st down, that penalty is enough for a 1st for Florida. So they will keep the ball. Running out to his right again, nowhere to go. Finally lets it go and caught at the 20-yard line. Cody Wasilewski with the catch. And Williams having a hard time really getting time to set his feet and throw. Good pressure by the Georgia defense, but that will be negated with a holding call. So the flag's beginning to fly here in the latter part of the 1st half. 8.5 to go in quarter number 2. So a 10-yard penalty from the spot. So we did not get a number on who the hold was called on, but that will push Florida all the way back to the 47-yard line. So again, a reminder that the penalty is enforced from where the hold occurred. So that's why now we're looking at almost about 1st and 25 or so. Rolls to his left and off the hands of his receiver, Dallas Donahue. Just not able to get much on it. You're seeing Williams running so quickly, but he's not able to get much beyond, really beyond the line on his initial throw. He's not getting his feet set. He's mid-run and just doesn't have the strength so far to really get that ball downfield. Led his receiver to a pretty good spot, but Donahue couldn't haul it in. Donahue from Merritt Island High School. And a handoff and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That's Monte Gilliard with the run, tackled by number 56, Justin Ested. And what a play. Got back in there and just dropped him down. And Florida will call a timeout. So again, Monte Gilliard trying to get something going. This offense just has not been able to pick up yardage consistently, and that really has shown itself. So as a team takes a timeout here, gets some water, we'll step aside for just a minute. You're watching SUV TV. And welcome back. Thanks for joining us again on SUV TV. Graham McGowan here with the Underclassmen Showcase. A 3-0 game with Team Florida leading by a field goal. And third down and a country mile. Another rollout to the right. Looking downfield, has a man beyond the defense and overthrows Wasilewski. But with the whistles that I hear, we have another flag, an eligible man downfield, and I will think that will be declined. And they will, in fact, decline that penalty and take the fourth down from their own 48-yard line. So Team Georgia's defense holds. Couple of penalties help out after the turnover, which oddly enough, with some of the way the punts have gone today, they may get better field position from a fourth down punt like this than they may have gotten from that turnover back inside the 20-yard line. So Josh Pickett, the return man for Team Georgia, as the punter gets some gloves on. And here is a nice punt, tumbling and caught at the 10-yard line, looking for somewhere to go. Has some room, working his way across the 20-yard line and dropped near the 25. So Georgia will take over possession with just a little bit better position they would have had on the interception, though I'm sure that I believe it was Shelton Lewis with the pick would have preferred to have the interception for his stats. So Florida's defense comes back on the field, should be well rested after the time and possession that they were able to have between the different flags. Some moved them into first down into Georgia territory on a first down, then moved them back, but plenty of time to rest. Quick patch to the flat on the left side, in and out of the hands of Duke Scott, incomplete. Duke Scott, also from Stockbridge High School, 5'10", 190 pounds, a freshman, made the first team all-region this year. So great job by that young man as a freshman to come in and make a big impact on his team at the running back position, using him flared out wide. Double clutched and nowhere to go. So Chris Martin looked for something, didn't like his initial look, and was immediately swallowed up. The running back didn't even get a hand on Caden Ingram as he pushed through the line, and Ingram comes down with a sack. The 6', 185-pound linebacker from Dwyer High School, the first team all Palm Beach County this year. And third down, about 16 for Georgia. And Ingram again comes off the side. They are not doing anything with him. Untouched, and brings a quarterback down. Helmet comes off, so he'll be out for a play, a legal tackle. But how are you missing him? The running back you see there steps up, completely loses containment on the linebacker Ingram, and he lays down a huge hit on Chris Martin. So fourth down and long, and quickly Florida's defense holds, and they will get the ball back on a punt. So Trip Slayton will look to punt this football away. A linebacker from Noonan High School. High snap that he managed to hold on to. Pretty good punt this time. That was going to be tumbling. Caught at the 48-yard line. Breaks a tackle across the 45, still on his feet, but momentum had finally stopped. And I think they will mark him down at the 45-yard line of Georgia. And Florida's defense looked really, really good on that possession. And now they're hoping their offense can pick up a little bit of that magic and mojo, if you will, and make something happen. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Ryan Anthony, the junior from Wellington High School, will take over as the signal caller. Rolls to his right, looks somewhere, off balance throw, but had a man, and it's caught. Room to run on the left side. He's got a blocker aiming for the corner of the end zone, and the ball came out, but a touchdown for Florida. Cody Wasilewski with the touchdown. Was worried that may have come out as a fumble before he reached it across the end zone. But it is a touchdown. First one that we have had on the day. And the missed tackle by Corpora Ellis there. He had a chance to wrap him and just couldn't. And what a great job by Cool Freeman running interference all the way down as Eric Jones III knocked the ball out after he had crossed the line of scrimmage. Wasilewski 700 all-purpose yards this year for Royal Palm Beach High School and puts up the first touchdown of the day for Florida. The snap not handled well, but picked up with no rush. And Hammond kicked it all the way out of the field, out of the fence into the parking lot. But he'll take it. So 10-0, Florida with the lead, and that was what they were looking for. And a great job by Ryan Anthony. As you saw, they were playing the zone. They lost containment on Wasilewski. And it was just a matter of him being able to get it to him. Kind of an off-balance throw, not a lot of arm behind it. But Wasilewski came back for it. And then a great job by the rest of the Florida offensive blockers down the way. Cool Freeman, the big one there, able to stay on the defender and keep him away as Eric Jones III was trying to get back there. And we haven't talked about Cool Freeman too much this game. The 6'1", 180-pound receiver from Lafayette High School, all-state team, also plays free safety, so we'll see him on both sides of the ball. 21 carries, 151 rushing yards, a touchdown, so got to imagine Lafayette's loving that jet sweep. And then 366 receiving yards, averaged over 15 yards per reception and 6 touchdowns on the year. Defensively, it's a whole nother story, and hopefully have a chance to see him on that side of the ball during the game. We'll talk about him when we get a chance to see that. High pooch kick. And picked up by Juandarius Silas, and he's across the 40-yard line. So an odd play, and we actually saw, and I believe they're the same coaching staffs for these two games between when we come between the senior showcase and the underclassmen showcase. And we saw Florida do almost the exact same thing at this roughly exact same time in the game in the senior game. So kind of odd to see, but doesn't work out well until Georgia takes over with good field position. A handoff to the right side and nowhere to go. Swallowed up in the backfield and dropped. Mason Thomas in on the tackle. And Dallas Johnson was just trying to get the corner turned. He couldn't do it. From Eastside High School, 190 carries, 1,466 rushing yards this year, 8 touchdowns, averaged almost 113 yards per game. So Johnson, a man that can definitely run when given the space and the openings to do it. Quick pass to the flat, out across the 45-yard line, near midfield, and brought down, but in bounds, and the clock will continue to run. 3rd down and 3 for Georgia. They got a little bit of momentum here offensively. Donovan Hoskins, the quarterback, the junior from Alexander High School. Handoff across midfield. And looks like they are going to mark him right at the 1st down marker. He looks like he got past by about a half a yard, but good enough to stop the clock, get the chains moved, and bring Georgia into Florida territory for the first time in quite a while. Tre'Davian Colbert from Cedar Shoals High School, the running back, on Hoskins' right pocket. And offsides called. A hard snap and a jump by number 35. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a 35 on our roster from Team Florida. So that will make it 1st and 5 for Team Georgia. And the clock will continue to run. Man in motion on running back. Going to be a sweep. Fakes a sweep. Keeps it up the middle. 1st down and some extra for Hoskins across the 35-yard line. And a good play by Hoskins. Read it very well. You could see the defense begin to make that move. Left a nice hole for him. And number 75, Mason Goodyear, the offensive lineman, got upfield and opened up a good hole for him to get through. Great job by the 6'1", 285-pound lineman from Prince Avenue Christian. Flag on the play back near the 39-yard line, and a illegal shift will be called on the offense. So we had multiple players moving who didn't get reset for at least a second prior to the snap. So the 5-yard penalty will bring the football out to the 40-yard line. 1st and 15 for Georgia. Georgia would love to put some points on the board before the half. Down 10-0. Defense has shown up really well for both teams. Offense has been a tough part, but especially right now, Georgia wants to answer back. Puts a man in motion, high snap. Fakes the handoff, dives up the front. Quarterback still on his feet and across the 35-yard line. And this is what you have to appreciate about the Florida defense. The fact that Isaiah Morrison gets in there so quickly, and you see just kind of the trouble that he stirs up. But the defense learns, and you saw after the last fake on the sweep, they gave into it and gave a big run. This time they were able to stay on it for only 5 yards as the handoff up the middle goes nowhere. Jalen Michael with the carry. And it'll be 3rd down and about 9.
Just under 2:10 remaining in the game's first half.
So I should give him 1 extra yard. 3rd down and 8. A big conversion here for Georgia. Jalen Michael again in the backfield. Quick drop, looking, airs it out. One-on-one coverage. And leads his receiver a good 3 or 4 feet out of bounds. Pass intended and, well, technically caught by Caleb Thompson, but out of bounds. And 4th down and 8, and you have to expect with under 2 minutes to go here in the first half, I have to expect that Georgia's going to go for it. And they certainly will do so. Caleb Thompson from Unity Christian High School. High pass again. Mann has him beat deep and just overthrows Malachi Ackles. Had him beat. Had great separation on the defender and just couldn't haul it in. Great read by the quarterback. And talk about the wind kind of being all over the place and just got a little bit too much under it. Wind sails it on him. And Ackles unable to come away with what would have been a fantastic pitch and catch touchdown. Ackles from Temple High School, a junior, first team all-region, 23 receptions for 418 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also played defensive back, so I would think we'll see him at some point out on the field, as both these teams have been using players on multiple sides of the football. Rolling out to his right, off-balance throw, high throw, incomplete, but not sure what happened there. Pass intended, number 14, John Harrison, and I don't know if he didn't get his head around in time to know where it was coming from, but he didn't give much effort at all to get up there for it, and you could hear the coaches yelling, you got to jump for that ball. So fortunately wasn't intercepted. Harrison, the 6'7", 200 pounds from Boca Raton Junior-Senior High School. Also was top 5 in the county as a quarterback. So same play looking again, this time nowhere to go. And Williams just having a hard time finding anything that he can really do. And I hear some whistles normally would indicate some type of flag. And we do have a flag. So illegal procedure on the offense. And that could be something as simple as not having the tight end or having the tight end covered up. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. One of those penalties, in all honesty, that with the minimal yardage gained, sure, the 5 yards kind of hurts you, but it really gives you a chance where you were pretty much back to the exact same spot, might have even lost a yard or so on the run. You lose an extra couple of feet, but you get to keep the down. I think Florida actually will kind of appreciate a chance to have a few more shots on this drive. 2nd and 15, Jacavian Williams will go in the shotgun this time. He's going to immediately roll to his left. Cuts back, finds a man, has it caught at the 42-yard line, and then loses. And that is one of the reasons I tell you, turn up field and go. Loses a little bit of yardage, but Keshawn Davia with the catch. And going to bring it back inside the chains, make it about 3rd down now, and looks to be 6. They'll mark it 3rd and 5, so certainly manageable for Team Florida here. Looking for the hard snap count, try and draw off sides. Nope, quick one. Williams going to keep it, cuts upfield, breaks a tackle, still has a man, and out of bounds. Great blocking by number 27 on that play. Preston Martin got his hands up in the shoulder pads, but also let him go. You'll see it right here on top of him. He's driving, and then lets him go as he starts to turn away. Great job to not get flagged for the holding. Didn't restrict the movement. Gets the chains to move, and now 30 seconds remain in this first half. So they need some big yards here for at least to get into field goal range for Hammond. Pressure on the quarterback, trying to get his blockers to give him some space. He does so, has some open spot now, has to let it fly. Has a man in the middle of the field, some space to his right, cutting towards the sideline, breaks a tackle, pushed out of bounds. And what a play by Desmond Reed, number 39, in the middle of the field, aims for the sideline and turned that into a huge play. The sophomore from Miramar High School. And a great block there. Wasn't a blindside block. Open hands, gets the defender off of him. That was Omarion Littles with the block. Fantastic job. And to have nobody ineligible downfield is even more impressive. What a great job by Desmond Reed. Ryan Anthony comes in now inside the red zone, looking to his right. And tipped away. Got to be careful here. Want to hold on to the football for a couple of points. 7 seconds left, time for probably one more play and a timeout. This is one of you cannot have a scramble drill. Know where you're going to go there, get down, and call the timeout. Desmond Reed, an offer from Florida Atlantic. So we were just talking about him. I mean, you can see how fast he was. A 4.42 40, a 10.700 meter, and a 48 400. That young man can scoot when he gets open field. Dropping back, looks quick on the right side, and tipped away. Double coverage. Arthur Brown tips it away. And do we have enough time? Let's see if, yep, looks like about 3 seconds remain on the clock. So they were able to stop it in time. And a timeout will be called. So Georgia will call a timeout, try and ice the kicker, because obviously not much you're going to play for here other than just a strategy to try and see if you can get Hammond to miss. But that big leg, I would think this is a pretty easy chip shot field goal, though he is kicking into a crosswind, at least for now, coming from right to left. Today's game is brought to you by the Showtime Prep Post-Grad Academy. Showtime Prep is a post-grad academy that allows athletes an opportunity to take a postgraduate semester and enter into the next recruiting cycle. Players are able to strengthen their academics, SAT, or ACT scores, and gain more game film. Showtime Prep is one of the least expensive postgraduate programs in the country. Located in Owings Mills, Maryland, 15 minutes from downtown Baltimore and 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. With the NCAA granting athletes an extra year of eligibility, high school seniors are losing out on scholarship opportunities. For more information, go to showtime-prep.com or follow them on Twitter at Showtime Prep. Hammond III, a 33-yard field goal. And I don't know what we have going here. So delay of game called to the offense, although was the play clock ever reset? So they're calling illegal substitution on the defense. So that'll be 12 men or more on the field for Team Georgia and a 5-yard penalty. Certainly won't change what Team Florida's choice is here, I don't believe, but will make it just a bit more of a manageable chip shot field goal. So a now 27-yard field goal for Hammond III. And bad snap, and this is part of what you love about not having to have anybody rushing. He'll get back and boot it, and the field goal is good. So with that, the clock will hit 0, and we will end the first half with a little bit of humor and a 13-0 Florida lead. Hang tight, folks. A 10-minute halftime to follow, and we'll be back with you here on SUV TV for the third and fourth quarter on the Underclassmen Showcase. Stay tuned.
With SUV TV at the CP3 Rising Stars Camp.
SUV TV's 2019 NBA Draft Day coverage.
Anthony Edwards Collegiate Decision presented by the Georgia Hoop Circle on SUV TV.
SUV TV brings the game to the audience.
You give a better focus on the actual game at hand. Sometimes you could tell it's just a running camera by itself sitting there, but with SUV TV, it's more of a personal experience.
Just the exposure, being able to see games that you normally wouldn't be able to see, not only here locally, but across the country.
Those angles make you pick up different things as a coach, as an evaluator. They're giving you great quality, nobody talking in the background. I think it brings basketball to the forefront.
Whether it's a family member was in a different state, they can watch the game, or just bringing in more coverage for these players, or if it's just allows us to raise more money for something like Susan G. Komen. And so I think this event has grown because you guys have been a part of it the whole entire time.
SUV TV has given a different light to kids that don't always get the best exposure.
The commentary that goes along with the games, I think, is always interesting.
Touchdown.
Oh, yes, sir.
It brings something to the table that no other streaming aspect can bring, no matter how hard they try right now.
Game time, Avian Williamson
at the buzzer.
That is how you get the Peachtree Corners Invitational started. And that will do it. Thanks for joining.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the Georgia versus Florida Underclassmen High School Showcase game. 13-0, Florida went into the half with the lead. A field goal in the waning seconds of the second quarter puts them up 13-0. Now, again, Georgia's offense still hasn't shown up yet. Their defense undeniably there, and really aside from one pass in the middle of the field and a really good block by Cool Freeman down the field, the only touchdown of the game, we're sitting pretty even here. Wind still whipping around the Feltram Sports Complex, blowing a little bit right to left. So Florida chose to defer, and they won the toss, so they will receive here for the opening of the third quarter. And once again, the football has fallen off the tee. So that is going to, I believe this is the second time that just happened, which will, if this is the second time, should require a holder. And looks like the chain crew still hasn't gotten back yet, so shades of the beginning of the game. We are in a holding pattern until everybody gets back to pick up the change. Our down box is ready to go, but we do not have our third person ready to pick up the chains.
All right. That's one. That's two. Three more ball. Four more ball.
While we wait, a reminder that today's game is brought to you by the Blue Chip High School All-American Game at AT&T Stadium. The Blue Chip All-American Game at AT&T Stadium is one of the premier high school All-American games in the country. The top performers from the Georgia versus Florida Underclassmen game will be invited to Arlington, Texas to compete. To nominate a player for the games, go to n-p-f-a.com. Again, the dashes are important, n-p-f-a.com. Chain crew's ready. We're ready. Team's ready. Hope you're ready. Second half kickoff. Here it is. And a high tumbling kick at the 15-yard line. Got a blocker. Cuts upfield. Hits his own man. And ran headlong into Brady Nolan, number 15. Man, what a did more damage to his own guy than anybody else. Nolan was trying to lay a block on the would-be tackler. Said he gets knocked down. And Trajan Landers comes in to lay down the hit. So Florida takes over at the 35-yard line. Pretty good spot to be to start. And the flag already coming out by the referee. That's going to be an illegal substitution. So an extra player on the field for Team Florida. I only counted 11, but it looks like Jamari Downing, number 5, was late getting off the field, so they flagged him. So 1st and 15, first play of the half. High pass, tipped, intended for Monte Gilliard. Gilliard, the running back from Lafayette High School, 5'11", 180. Also played cornerback, a junior, 89 carries, 598 rushing yards. Had 7 touchdowns, averaged almost 7 yards per carry. Being used this time out of the backfield as kind of a swing receiver. So Ryan Anthony once again will work under center. He opens up the second half. Defense creeping up. Good snap. Going to roll to his left. Look for somewhere to go with it. Directing traffic. Low throw. Looks like it was complete. And the referees say yes. Ball complete to McGuire Neal out near the 40-yard line.
So a nice pickup. Advance him up to the 41-yard line. Second down at 4. 14.
So something that Florida definitely needs, using one of their, actually listed as a defensive lineman, but McGuire Neal from Zephyr Hills High School, also a state track qualifier. So as a D lineman, you can see why he'd be used offensively here, and the intended target for Team Florida on that reception. Flushed out to the right side. Off-balance throw, off the hands. And tipped into the backfield, falling harmlessly. Incomplete. Zacavian Edgecombe, the intended target from Leonard High School, class of 2023, just a sophomore. And it was just out of reach for him. So 4th down and 4, a manageable 4th down and 4, but it looks as though Robert Hammond III will come out, which normally indicates a punt. That young man has a huge leg, and unless they can, well, actually there would be no way to get an offsides penalty here, as the defense can't rush. So Florida will resign themselves to a 3 and out, and will punt the ball away. Josh Pickett back to receive. Good punt. Tumbling at the 22-yard line, almost carries him out of bounds. Up the sideline, lowers his head, tripped up, out and across the 35-yard line, and Georgia will take over. So Florida's defense will come back in. They have really controlled the tempo of this football game. They have not given Georgia much of anything to really work with. And as they come in, they came in rested on a previous possession. It was a quick 3 and out coming in out of the half. It's going to be interesting to see just how strong, just how fast Florida's defense will play. Jamari Downing, you see in the bright orange cleats on your screen. Bad snap, fallen on, and possession will remain with Team Georgia. That was almost disastrous right off the top. And Joshua Weems fortunately sees it and falls on it. The junior from Woodland High School, 335 rushing yards this year, 2 touchdowns on 76 carries. Quick swing pass out to the right side, hit immediately and swarmed by the defense. They ended up pulling him forward a little bit, but they're going to say momentum stopped right about the 36-yard line. So a gain of 1 or 2. And back to the 36-yard line. So now she's back within the sticks, more of a 4-yard gain. 3rd down now and 7. Chris Martin, the quarterback, looking for somewhere to go. Quick pass, and all over him. Yeah, that's going to bring in flags from both left side officials, as there wasn't much of a question there. Number 16 draped all over the back. I don't have a number for 16 on our roster here. But that seems to be a pretty good call on pass interference there, as he was wrapped around the waist well before the football got there. So pass interference, a 15-yard penalty, not an automatic first down. There are no automatic first downs in high school football. Now you have 15-yard, obviously personal fouls, unsportsmanlike fouls, pass interference as you see, but not going to have an automatic first down built into these, only if the yardage is enough to net you the requirement to move those sticks. Clap of the hands. Inside handoff on the right side and nowhere to go. Flung down. And Dominic Fusca pushes him all the way back. And you can see the referee saying, you can't be doing that. We went ahead and blew the whistle. And the little bit of extra shove there. Don't want to see that again. Fusca again from Cardinal Newman High School. 32 tackles this year. A blocked punt, a blocked field goal. 6 tackles for loss. And I will say overall our officiating crew done a very good job today. Martin looking, goes downfield, has a man deep, in and out of the hands. What a breakup by the defender. That looks to be number 20. Is that 28? Andreas Foreman. And a big-time play there by the defense. And hard to tell with those jerseys pulled up who that was exactly, but what a play. And actually, that was DJ Johnson, the third, number 29. from Bowles High School. 29 tackles, 7 passes defended, and you see why right there. Great job by that young man. Pass came out the side of his hand, kind of funky, but caught in space, finds a soft spot in the zone. Good enough for a first down to Carlos Billingsley. A great job there by Martin. Looked real fast, as you can see, just kind of rolled off the side of his hand. Weird, but kept a good spiral on it. Able to turn upfield and pick up that first down. Hand off again. Left side off of the, right off the tackle, across the 35-yard line. And all of a sudden, Georgia's offense seems to be clicking just a little bit. Ias Allen back as a running back. Florida trying to get somebody off, and now Martin going to do a little bit of changing at the line. Quick snap, looking again, gets his feet set. Now he's going to step up in the pocket. Turns down the field, double coverage, and into the end zone. Looks to be picked off, and it is a turnover, interception by Florida. And that was number 16 with the interception. Unfortunately, again, don't have a number 16 on our Florida roster. But an ill-timed pass there, double coverage, and didn't put enough on it. And looks like he had Chris Presto down there, or rather had Jalen Turner open on the left side. You saw him on the back end of your screen as the interception. Turner from Jordan High School, a young man we haven't had a chance to talk about much today, a 4.27 GPA. So a young man in a lot of honors AP classes. Great for him. All-region team, the first team, all-by-city team. So Florida will take over. Jacavian Williams under center, high snap. Rolls to his right, sets up, deep. Man fell down, caught at the 38 and more. Defender fell down, and Cody Wasilewski picks it up, but he is taking a minute to get up. Looks like he fell on the football and knocked the wind out of him. They will stop the clock for it, so they will stop the clock. He will come out for a play. Seems like he might have fallen. Might have fallen something on that back thigh and his back hamstring. Seems to be bothering him. So hopefully we'll see him back in the game. So big play, big completion by Williams. Fakes a handoff again, rolls to his right on the move. That pass is caught. And a good pitch and catch once again by Florida. McGuire Neal hauls that one in. And the DB once again being used on the offensive side of the football. So another first down for Florida. They are moving well. Fakes it out to the left this time. Has a man behind the defense just out of his reach. Lays out for it, but could not come back with it. Pass intended for Cool Freeman. And after that big block that Freeman laid out for the touchdown earlier in the game, makes sense to try and get him involved. Also, free safety, had 25 tackles, 5 picks, a fumble recovery as a free safety as well. 24 receptions, 6 touchdowns as a wide receiver for Lafayette High School this past year. Made the All-State team. Fake handoff out to the right. Sets his feet, turn, hard hit, and that pass is once again complete to McGuire Neal. So a solid job so far by Team Florida, running pretty much the exact same plays, but really the offensive line involved there. That was big man Dalton Lyons with the block that you could see at the top of your screen. The junior from Benjamin High School, really big legs. This guy's a guy that can play left tackle or left guard. Really, really good hands. and made the all 5-6-1 private team. So great job by Dalton Lyons on the block there for his quarterback. You see it again, great feet, grab the blocker, open field to the right corner, to the pylon, and just out of bounds, shy of the pylon. Late getting the call, but a good job of communication. You see the Lions again, gets the defender, pushes him off the corner, and man, it really looked like he got to that pylon there. And they're going to mark him out with the nose of the football just shy of the goal line. First and goal, about a half a yard to go. This is the deepest into territory either team has been knocking on the goal line. Remember that touchdown was about a 40 or 45-yard reception. Handoff, shoulder down and into the end zone for a touchdown. Team Florida. Steve Dilliard with the rush and the touchdown from Stranahan High School. On the Broward All-County team, South Florida's all-crib watch list. 244 rushing yards, a touchdown, and 30 carries in 3 games. Named a top 50 player in Broward County for the class of 2022. So Dilliard finally gets his hands on the football and punches it in for 6. And Hammond up and good from Seminole Ridge High School. So he has been perfect on his point afters. 2 for 3 on his field goals, and 20-0. Florida with the lead. So Georgia knows now that it is getting into crunch time for them. Still plenty of time in this ball game. As you see Dilliard blast in, and a great job. That's Sincere Edwards, number 25, with the block as he had hands on Anthony Gaskin, just pushing him, trying to create that space. So once again, Ham will tee it up. And they will work their way from the 10-yard line on back. Already seen a touchback for him so far. And the wind circling, but I think he's got a bit of a tailwind here, so could easily see a touchback off of this big right leg. High booming kick, taking them back and into the end zone, almost 5 yards deep into the end zone. So a touchback, and Georgia will once again start from the 20-yard line.
Down 20 in this one, Team Georgia looking to get that chip off their shoulder. They got to get in the end zone. They got to get in the end zone, baby. They might need the help of that 12th man to get them motivated. Talk to them.
Georgia with 8.5 left here in the third quarter. Points are now crucial for them. Going to have to make each possession count as they move forward. Donovan Hoskins back as the quarterback. He's going to put a man in motion. That's B.J. Gibson. Hands off to Gibson. Turns the corner, has some room. Swarm tries to get away and dropped. And I believe that is one of the first times that we have talked about B.J. Gibson today. And a great job by that young man. Good carry. Got the corner turned quite well. Trips on the left side. Double clutches, look for somewhere to go. Going to push it up and flung down at the 30-yard line. Tackle by number 28. That's Andreas Foreman. But a good run by Donovan Hoskins. Andreas Foreman from Vieira High School, 6 foot, 220, a 4.0 GPA, 58 tackles this year, finished 8th in Brevard County in tackles, 3rd on the Vieira Hawks. So 2 players from Brevard County, Merritt Island and Vieira High School represented here today. Puts a man in motion, a handoff on the left side, dive right up the middle and nowhere to go. That defense swallowed up anything that came near it. You see Bradley Mann and Bryson Thornton. Thornton from Vernon High School. Bradley Mann, 6'6", 240 from Bowles. Both those young men juniors in the class of 2022. So 6.5 minutes remain. We were under the halfway mark through the third quarter, and Georgia having a hard time pushing the ball. 2nd and 9. Down the field, big pass there. Had a man, overthrew him, put too much on it. That looked more intended for Michael Dole than it did for number 9, Xavier Brantley. Brantley in there off the hands from Montgomery County High School. 22 receptions, 603 yards, 8 touchdowns. Also a shooting guard on the varsity basketball team for Montgomery County. Played defense as well this past year. 33 tackles, 2 for loss, and 2 interceptions with a pick 6. Clap of the hands again. Quick drop, looking, steps up, needs to pass it sidearm, and almost managed to haul it in. Carlos Billingsley thought he had it, couldn't keep control of that football. The tackler missed him and almost allowed him to tip that ball back to himself. That looked to be number 21, Zakavian Edgecombe in there to finish up that play. So Georgia will hold a decent time of possession, 2 to 3 minutes on that drive, which is pretty good per drive in high school ball. And they will now have to punt the ball away. High spiraling kick. And that's going to go out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Flag coming in from the side judge here on the left side near Florida. And that might have something to do with the block that we saw well away from the football. So we'll see what they're going to go ahead and call on that. I think they're trying to prevent any chippiness. So again, a great job really by our officiating crew today. They haven't over-officiated a lot of verbal communication that we have seen with the players, keeping players in the game and trying to keep things from getting too far out of hand. So a huge tip of the cap to them. And after conversation, then we'll wave that flag off. So Florida will take over at the 35-yard line. And now this is really just about controlling the football. Keep your foot on the gas, hold the tempo, and get yourself to 0-0s in the fourth quarter. Looks like Ryan Anthony will quarterback this drive. He's going to roll to his right. He's being chased and flung down. What a great chase by number 56, Justin Ested. And a great job by that young man from Kennesaw Mountain High School, 6'3", 230. Again, offer from Troy University, 2 pressures, a sack, 9 tackles, 3 for loss. His stats this year. And what great speed. No wonder Troy's interested in him. Great motor on that young man to chase down the quarterback as he tried to turn the corner. And a big loss, a 7-yard loss on that quarterback sack. 2nd down and 17. They're going to bunch it on the right side. He's going to roll to his left, shakes off 1 tackle, and missed his defender by quite a bit. That was John Harrison, and missed him well to the right. Incomplete pass. And that's one of the things I was saying I've been a bit surprised to see with these quarterbacks, especially for Florida. A lot of movement with these guys. Very rarely do we see them setting their feet and really getting a good shot down the field. Everything has been off balance on the move. But the line that we have seen, sure, the defense has great pressure off the corners at times, but they have a line here that can really help hold these guys down. As you see now, there he does set his feet and overthrows Urshad Jacey. And push-ups by Arthur Brown. He knows he had one and should have come away with that one and just missed it. Brown from Houston County, a junior. And JC just over his hands. Nothing he could really do with that one.
Somebody on the Florida sideline get a swipe or no swiping. As that pass failed to be picked off. Fourth down and 7.
JC from Episcopal School of Jacksonville, 5'11", 195 pounds. And the numbers on this young man are fantastic. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But this is a junior with a 3.4 GPA, a 1050 SAT, two-time first all-coast team. That punt skied high at the 40-yard line and across midfield and swallowed up. Huge hit to finish it off. And they're going to throw a flag on Michael Dahl. And that didn't seem to be that high of a hit. Look at the replay here and see what they say. And we'll see what happens here. They're going to call unnecessary roughness possibly. We'll see what the conversation is. So Urshad JC over 1,000 all-purpose yards, and they're going to call helmet-to-helmet on that hit. And it was, looks like that was number 3. They're saying it was Robert Hammond III on the helmet-to-helmet. I didn't see it off the top. Thought he had. I really thought that he had kind of turned his shoulder and caught him more on the back, but they're right there, and they're going to throw that flag at any time you can. Yeah, that can't be him. I don't think he's the kicker, so I doubt that was the number for the person with the penalty there. So out to his right, nowhere to go. A flag as Chris Martin turns upfield. 2 flags, one from the referee, one going to be from our. I think one's going to be from our side judge or our field judge. Our field judge on the far side. So 2 flags. Let's see what we have here. Not sure if they're going to be, as I see one flag kind of get moved in the same area. So it should be for the same thing. It's going to be a hold. And we have a dead ball personal foul. So those will both end up being enforced. So in the end, we're going to have a net of a 5-yard gain for Georgia. Now we're going to see. So they should be stepping off by manual. They will normally step off the 10 and then step off the 15. And indicate each one. Yep, and you'll see here, you're going to see our umpire. See if they go ahead and do it as we wait. And still waiting for the officials to get together on this. And while we wait, a reminder, folks, that with the NCAA granting athletes an extra year of eligibility, high school seniors are losing out on scholarship opportunities. Showtime Prep Postgrad Academy is a viable option for athletes who need help with recruiting. Players are able to strengthen their academics, SAT, or ACT scores and gain more game film. Showtime Prep is located in Owings Mills, Maryland, 15 minutes from downtown Baltimore and 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. For more information, go to showtime-prep.com or follow them on Twitter at Showtime Prep. So everything all sorted out now. Again, no automatic first downs here. So at the end, we're looking about 1st and 5 as they step off both penalties because one was a live ball, one being a dead ball. Both get enforced, so a net gain of 5 yards for Team Georgia. Another flag on the field. All kinds of time. Now rolls back to his right. Pass to the right side off of the hands of the intended receiver. That was Eli Thompson, number 25. And another penalty that will go against Team Georgia. And we'll mark them back as we, and judging by the 5-yard penalty, it looked like we had either an illegal shift or an illegal formation. First back to 1st down and 10 as they will replay first down. Chris Martin continues his work at quarterback. Snap out to his left. He grabs it, hands off, tripped up, and still trying to get some extra yardage is 33, Joshua Weems. And it's like he gets about 6 on the carry. So second down and 4 for Joshua Weems from Woodland High School. 76 carries, 335 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year. He'll carry it again off the right side. He's got some room on the right side, still on his feet towards the end zone. Hit hard, and do we have... He is down just shy of the goal line. And Georgia knocking on the door right there, and a huge hit. And that's our Walter Stovall saving the touchdown. And let's see, we have a timeout being called by Team Florida. Walter Stovall from Creekside High School, the junior, a 335 GPA, 59 tackles this year, a pick, and a fumble recovery. And you're going to see that big hit here right at the tail end. 26 on your screen, the black helmet hits him hard and saves the touchdown, at least for the time being. But Georgia, for the first time, deep inside Florida territory with a chance to put 6 points on the board, something they definitely have been in need of. The Blue Chip All-American game at AT&T Stadium is one of the premier high school All-American games in the country. The top performers from the Georgia versus Florida Underclassmen game will be invited to Arlington, Texas to compete. The game will precede the all-new HBCU All-American game during All-American weekend. To nominate a player for the high school games, go to n-p-f-a.com. High snap and a flag. And one of those moments that really works better for Georgia, actually, with that snap. Likely was going to be a loss of more than 5 and the loss of down. So good luck for Georgia there. They lose 5 yards, able to keep it close. So now first down and goal. I think the football pushed more towards the 7-yard line or so. They're going to mark it the 5.5. Looking to get our box in the right spot. So here's a snap. Handoff again, right up the middle, still churning the legs into the teeth of that defense. And Joshua Weems, he is aiming for that touchdown. He knows he almost had it. He wants to have his name in the stats. That's 6 points right next to it. Second down, they're going to hurry it back up. Still going to spread it out. Another handoff to Weems. Hit immediately and nowhere to go. Surprised they let him hold as long as they could. And what a play. Number 19 in on the tackle, Isaiah Morrison. The 6'1", 270-pound D lineman from Mainland High School. 27 tackles, 15 for loss. And we have a Florida player down with an ankle. And while they go ahead and tend to that young man, we will step aside here. You're watching the Underclassmen High School Showcase, Georgia versus Florida on SUV TV.
Brown with SUV TV at the CP3 Rising Stars campus.
SUV TV's 2019 NBA Draft Day coverage.
Anthony Edwards Collegiate Decision, presented by the Georgia Hoop Circle on SUV TV.
SUV TV brings the game to the audience.
You give a better focus on the actual game at hand. Sometimes you could tell it's just a running camera by itself sitting there, but with SUV TV, it's more of a personal experience.
Just the exposure, being able to see games that you normally wouldn't be able to see, not only here locally, but across the country.
Those angles make you pick up different things as a coach, as an evaluator. They're giving you great quality, nobody talking in the background. I think it brings basketball to the forefront.
Whether it's a family member that lives in a different state, they can watch the game, or just bringing in more coverage for these players, or if it just allows us to raise more money for something like Susan G. Komen. And so I think this event has grown because you guys have been a part of it the whole entire time.
SUV TV has given a different light to kids that don't always get the
Welcome back to SUV TV at the Feltram Sports Complex here in Haines City, Florida. And that was Wasilewski able to walk off under his own power, gingerly, granted on that right ankle, but seems to be okay. Just got it turned up in that scrum during the last play. Football back to the 5-yard line, 3rd down and goal here. And Florida trying for a huge goal line stand. Now, granted, the 5-yard penalty pushed Georgia back and gave Florida a little bit of breathing room. Quarterback keepers, nope, pitch out to the right side. Bowls over the defender. Touchdown, Georgia. And the first time today they find the end zone, Joshua Weems lowers his shoulder. Look at this play again. He's going to lower it and run right over the Florida defender. We're going to give you a couple of good angles off, and then you can see the hold right there, too. That could have been a costly holding call if found, as they had the defender's jersey pulling him into that open slot. But no flag, nothing to do, and a good 6 points for Georgia. So with 2:25 remaining, this is in the 3rd quarter. See if they're going to attempt a point after try or they're going to go for a 2-point conversion. It appears I see Chris Martin in there. He will be the holder. Number 20, Tripp Slayton, will be the kicker for the try. And Slayton gets under it, hits the upright, and banged its way back through. Good enough for a good point try. So 20-7, and Georgia still trails, but now within 13 points in this game all of a sudden gets just a little bit more interesting now that we have points on the board for both teams. A good kick by Slayton, had plenty under it, just managed to catch that upright at the right angle and bang it through. Slayton, the linebacker from Noonan High School, 6'1", 185, 52 tackles this year, 11 for loss, 6 sacks. On top of that, this young man, a 4.0 GPA, a 29 ACT, first team All-County and on the All-Region team. So great to have this young man representing his high school and the state of Georgia in this game. Referee will call for the kick. Florida back to return a high end-over-end kick, backpedaling to the 14. Cuts right, has some room, open space down the field, tripped up, still on his feet, finally brought down across the 45 and into Georgia territory. And what a cutback. Look here, a couple of great blocks. Tripped up, stayed on his feet, finally hit and dragged down. And a huge time return for Team Florida.
Very consistent throughout the course of the day, picking up at least 2 first downs per series. They keep that momentum going.
Jacavian Williams, back on the center, almost loses the snap. Rolls out to his left. And fumbles the ball, picked up by Georgia. Down the field across the 25 and brought down number 56, Justin Ested with the strip sack, the recovery, and the return. What just happened? Loses containment. Williams tries to get around. One hands the ball. It is popped out and right into his arms. And once again, Justin Ested from Kennesaw Mountain High School making himself known. And Georgia gets to take over inside the 25-yard line of Florida. And this is the kind of momentum shift they needed. If Georgia can come away with points on this, we are in a whole new football game, folks. Donovan Hoskins back under center, under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Snap, handoff. And nowhere to go for Joshua Weems.
But after that Debo play of the game, I don't know, man. Second down.
And how crazy was that turn of events? Here's a replay once again. Wraps the jersey, tried to get away, but didn't control it, didn't take care of the football. High pass, and they were on different pages, although a flag on the play, pass intended for Kish Wright. And roughing the passer called on the defense. So a 15-yard penalty. Actually, that'll be a half the distance penalty as they are inside the 30. So that should move the football to about the 11-yard line or so. Kish Wright from Lanier County High School, two-time first-team All-Region, 6 catches, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. His stat line for the 2020-21 football season. So the half the distance penalty, enough for a first down, still outside the 10-yard line, so to the 3-yard line will get them a first. Defense shows pressure, run off the right side, still on his feet near the goal line, and brought down at the 2-yard line. Great run by Georgia. They saw the pressure coming, had a great play, a blast off the right side. Running pressure off the right side near the goal line and marked down just shy. The hurry-up offense coming quick. A shoe on the field from somebody, it looks like, back near the 7-yard line from the previous play. So first down and goal. Georgia knocking on the door of the end zone and bringing this game to within a one-score game. Jardavian Colbert in the backfield. Under center is the quarterback. They're going to go for a sneak. They go, try for a sneak, nowhere to go. And they pushed the lineman. They pushed Wyatt Anderson right back into the quarterback. And a great surge by the defense there as Anderson had absolutely nowhere to go. The 6'3", 295-pound offensive lineman from Heritage High School. Also part of the track team. And that loss of yardage will end the third quarter. So we're going to flip ends. Georgia with a second down and goal, 2 showing on the box. And when we come back, Georgia will try one more play for the end zone and to cut this lead to 1 score. Stay with us here on SUV TV. And welcome back. The fourth quarter of the Underclassmen Showcase underway. Second and goal. Ball at the 3, and illegal motion on the offense. Flag comes in. Waiting for the official signal from our referee as he is trying to get some clarification. I didn't even hear the play had been blown back, the ball had been blown back in, and the clock had been started. So we'll see as they have the discussion to see what we're going to have here. What will, if anything, be enforced? So it is. We have an illegal procedure on the offense, and that is going to put Georgia now 8 yards shy of the end zone. Second down and goal for Georgia. They're going to spread the field. The defense tight on the offensive line. A clap of the hands and a handoff. Nowhere to go once again. Immediately smothered. And that guy, did a helmet come off? And I think someone fell over. Yeah, I think someone tripped and the helmet came off. Not sure if that was during the play or after, so we'll see if he has to come out. And that was number 76. Oh, yeah, you can see right there he had a hand up in his face. That was Brandon Reed, the offensive lineman for Georgia, whose helmet came off from Coffee High School. Third down, that was a loss of a yard on the play. A third down and goal now from the 9-yard line. Hoskins in the gun. Fakes the handoff, keeps it out to his left. Looking for a blocker, cuts back in. Tried to jump and dive, got flipped over at the 5-yard line. Managed to hold on to the ball, but, man, he jumped really early on this play. Take a look here. Defense looking for him, had a nose for the football. He jumps, gets hit by 16, but he was trying to jump it from the 5. We're surprised at that one. Here we go. He plants. Actually, he planted more from the 7. Not sure where he was trying to go. As in high school, similar to college, once you hit the ground, you are down. Contact is not required. So now 4th down and goal from the 4-yard line. Could be a huge stop for Team Florida. If they can come away holding Georgia out of the end zone after the strip sack fumble. Keeps it again to his left, dives forward, lowers the head, and a touchdown for Georgia. Donovan Hoskins, the 6'3" quarterback from Alexander High School, had 10 touchdowns on the ground this year. Add one more to him in this game, over 1,100 yards on the ground for Alexander High School, and he brings Georgia even closer now. 20-13. Trip Slayton, the linebacker, will work as the place kicker for this try. Again, as you have watched, or if you're just tuning in now, cannot rush the kicker on a punt or on a try. So he will boot that one. That one's clean all the way through, out into the parking lot. And 20-14. And Georgia within a score. So the tables now beginning to turn. Momentum in the sails of the blue and white of Team Georgia. And Florida needs to get a big-time play here. Need to get down the field, eat up a lot of clock, try and get some points on the board, and stave off a surging Georgia offense here in the 4th quarter. And a reminder, folks, today's game is brought to you by the Blue Chip High School All-American Game at AT&T Stadium. All-American Weekend will consist of the HBCU College All-American Game, the Blue Chip High School Senior All-American Game, and the National Underclassmen Showcase. All taking place in January of next year, 2022. To nominate a player for the games, go to n-p-f-a.com. Again, the dash has got to be in there. n-p-f-a.com. Florida has 2 returners, out by the hash marks. big end-over-end kick, drifting back off the hands and through the end zone. That'll be a touchback, and Team Florida will take over at the 20-yard line. 13 and change remains here in the fourth quarter. And an exciting ending, it looks like, to this one, just as we had in the senior game. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, go to SUVTV.com. Also go to SUVTV on YouTube and check out all of our social media pages for multiple playbacks of our different basketball games, different tournaments that we have a chance to cover. Martin Luther King Day was a really great day for us here with sport on SUVTV. A roll out to the right. Short pass off a target on number 13. So 2nd down and 10 for Team Florida. The Georgia defense not giving a lot of respect to the deep ball. DB's at the 30-yard line. Line of scrimmage is the 20. So about 10 yards of separation. Handoff, cutting back to the left side, breaks a tackle, and swallowed up back at the original line of scrimmage. Steve Dealier with the carry, the 5'7" running back from Stranahan High School. And the defense all over that one. You see number 38, Jordan Farrell, Trent Schurman, number 41, all inside the left side there of that run. Nowhere to go for Team Florida. Farrell from Discovery High School, 53 tackles, 3 for loss, a fumble recovery, 61-yard touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles this year. Plants his feet and fires. Receiver was Cody Wasilewski. Good to see him back in the game after the apparent ankle injury early in the third quarter. But a quick 3 and out for the defense, and Georgia defense showing up. There's some momentum here. Motivation, Georgia getting on their backs. And Florida will have to punt the football away. So Georgia all of a sudden tasting some blood in the water. Carlos Billingsley, the return man for Georgia. Billingsley, a DB from Callaway High School. Helped his team to win the 2A state championship this year. A junior first team all-region as well as a wide receiver. So you'll see him on both sides of the football here as we have today. And now putting him in special teams as well. Hammond set to punt the ball away. Good snap. And a high kick. That's going to drift all the way back to the 30-yard line. Billingsley turns the corner, gets grabbed, able to break away, trying to find somewhere to go. Finally down to the 30-yard line, and that should drop him there.
Georgia will send their offense out onto the football field, scoring on their last 2 possessions.
So now a big one for Team Georgia. A touchdown here puts them, will at least tie them. So let's see what they can do. Chris Martin will work under center for Team Georgia. Claps the hands, a handoff on the right side. Tries to turn the corner, hit hard, upended. And what a shot by number 35 on the defense. And drops the running back at the 40-yard line. A loss of 2. Aias Allen had nowhere to go. And the 5'11" back from Jefferson Davis High School, a power forward on that team, had nowhere to go. Over 1,000 rushing yards for him this year, 8 yards a carry, 8 touchdowns, 600-yard games. Man, what a shot he just took there. Martin looking for a place to go, steps up in the pocket and falls down And that will go as a down by contact. So now 3rd down and 15 for Georgia.
Number 7 to 25, crashing from the edges. Second down and 16 for Georgia.
And the defense now for Florida showing pressure. Jamari Downing showing pressure off the right side. He's going to bring pressure. Turns the corner. Quarterback hit and flung down the 25-yard line. The pressure from Downing opened up a hole in the A-gap, and Isaiah Morrison came flying through. Right there you see, beat Mason Goodyear. And down went the quarterback. Big loss for Georgia, huge gain for Team Florida as they force a 3-and-out and look to take possession back over as the time continues to tick away. 10.5 minutes remain in this football game. And Isaiah Morrison, the junior from Mainland High School, 5 sacks on the year, 15 tackles for loss, and you can see why. What a great job, great speed by that young man through the line. Another good spiraling punt. Punt muffed, still muffed. He hasn't picked it up yet, all the way back to the 5-yard line. The defense swarming. He's going east to west, trying to turn the corner, and gets a shove out just past the 10-yard line. And that could have been a disastrous play. That was Desmond Reed, number 39, and tried to handle that kick and almost went all the way back into the end zone. That could have been awful. So Team Florida will get a chance to take over. They retain possession and will do so relatively deep within their own territory. Jacavian Williams will take over as the quarterback. The 5'8" junior from John Leonard High School, ranked a top 5 athlete in Palm Beach County by New Era Prep. And he will helm this drive. Handoff from the outside, nowhere to go, swallowed up and flung down. And Urshad Jay-Z, just trying to get some kind of positive yardage here, was looking for an inside shot, tried to cut it back out, but defense immediately swarmed. And Florida taking their time, letting the seconds, precious seconds for Team Georgia, continue to bleed off the clock. Nearing 9 minutes remaining. The man gets motioned out to the right side. Rolls to his left, looks for a place to go. Off-balance throw. And that could have been disastrous as see Shelton Lewis there lost his balance trying to get stopped and come back to the football. And there was at the top of your screen, saw the wide open shot. And again, you see Williams throwing off that back leg on the run, not getting his hips turned. There is not much on that football. If it's open, that's an easy pick. Fortunate that Lewis fell. Shelton Lewis from Stockbridge High School, the all-region team as a junior. So excited for that. Actually, he's a sophomore, I correct myself. Long throw on the field. And that took the receiver out of bounds. That was intended for Monte Gilliard. Coverage by Corpora Ellis. Crowd calling for a penalty, thinking he grabbed him around the ankles, but I didn't see anything that really affected his ability to catch that football. Good defense by Ellis, leading him all the way to the sideline. And 4th and 10, so 3 and outs back to back to back here. And Georgia with a chance to regain possession, and with a good return, could regain possession inside of Florida territory. Josh Pickett will be your return man. A 5'7", or 5'10" DB from Lowndes County. 70 tackles this year for that young man. 2.5 for loss, a pick, 2 passes deflected. So he has been a important piece for Lowndes County defense. And seems to be a discussion happening here on the far sideline between the head coach for Team Georgia and our officiating crew. So no flags on the play. They have been something just to make sure there wasn't going to be any safety issues. Any rushing the kicker. Again, once you elect a kick, you have to kick. It's unsportsmanlike conduct if you don't. And a high punt taken at the 42-yard line. Looking for a place to go. Cutting back. Still has a room. Left side on a seam. Down the field. One blocker cuts back in. And a touchdown for Georgia. And Josh Pickett ties the game. No flags on the field. And what a play by Josh Pickett. What a cutback by that young man. Here's the replay on your screen. Went through multiple tackles, hands on him. And then a cutback at the last minute. And that was number 31, Trajan Landers, down the field, providing the extra blockage. And the snap rolls all the way back to the 25-yard line. And are they going to re-snap it? I'm not sure. I guess they'll just play the mulligan card and they'll re-snap it. That works. So there's a snap. And the kick is up. And it is good. And Team Georgia, with 8:40 remaining in the fourth quarter, lead by 1, 21-20. What a turn of events it has become here. Special teams has been involved. Defense has been involved. Offense has been involved. Everybody, all 3 phases of the game showing up for Georgia when it counts in the fourth quarter. And how big is this? And as the Georgia crowd continues to get restless, Florida crowd even more so. And they will get the kickoff once again. 2 returners back for Florida. Booming kick at the 2-yard line. Looking for a spot into the middle of that return unit and brought down, but across 25-yard line. So Florida will start in solid field position at about the 27-yard line or so. And we are set up for a fun last 8.5 minutes. Quick pass out to the left side. And Cool Freeman catches it out in the flat. Across 25. And they marked the ball carrier down at the 24. That's good for a 2 or 3 yard gain. Ryan Anthony, quarterback for this drive for Florida. Another 4-receiver set. 3-step drop, steps up in the pocket, has a blocker, turn in the corner, out of bounds, and that's going to be a blind side block. And that's a huge shot by Cool Freeman, but you're going to see the defender not looking at him. He's looking the other way, and he comes in there. That's a great call. Blind side block called on Cool Freeman, a 15-yard penalty. So one of the main things here in high school football, this was a couple of years ago when this happened. Obviously, a block in the back is a no-go. Can't have your hands in between the numbers, but on the side of the defender, when they can't see you coming, has to be open hand and an extension. You want to see a block. You don't want to see him coming crack back or a big blow-up like you just saw from Freeman. So he saw the opportunity, but was not the time to do it. So a great call by the officials, much to the chagrin of a lot of fans, but it was the right call to make. A young player down on the field, but he seems to be up and walking off under his own power. So that penalty will go half the distance to the goal. And that moves Florida back to what looks like the 15-yard line. And the clock will start on the snap as the quarterback got out of bounds. 3-step drop down the field, has a man open, tipped and caught by the offense. What a play. Heads up football by number 27, Preston Martin, to stay with it off the deflection. Tipped by his own man and brought down. And Preston Martin from King's Academy. And also a free safety, 13 receptions, 223 yards in 5 games this year. Came away with that one. He's going to air that again, and this time there was some miscommunication. Either he was expecting Cool Freeman to cut back faster and quicker, or McGuire Neal, someone's route got a little bit off. 2nd down and 10, but finally some breathing room for Team Florida. Down by a run, or by a run, I'm thinking baseball, down by a point. As baseball season just 3 weeks away from spring training here in Florida and Arizona. 2nd and 10, 3-step drop, pressure out to the right side. Airs one deep, has the man beat, and that ball, that is caught by Florida. Huge reception down the field and into the red zone. Keyshawn DeVille with the catch. And a huge pitch and catch for those two guys. And that puts Florida inside scoring territory. And DeVille from Hillsborough High School, a DB on the roster, also played wide receiver, as you can see. 116 yards and a touchdown and 11 receptions this year, but 51 tackles, 3 for loss and 3 picks on the defensive side of the ball. So he shows up huge offensively, and a big-time reception for Florida. Another quick drop, pressure, evades one. Looking, front corner, caught and pushed out of bounds right near the 5-yard line. Great play by Ryan Anthony on the run. And you can see the reception right there at the 5. That was Jacavion Williams with the catch. Big time catch there by Williams. Heavy set in the backfield for Florida. Handoff, plenty of blockers off the right side into the end zone, and a touchdown for Florida. Power football at its best. And Steve Deliard with the touchdown for Team Florida out of Stranahan High School. So Florida takes the lead back, and we still have plenty of time remaining for Georgia to answer. 24-21, 5:46 remains in this football game. And where we thought that blindside block could be detrimental to the drive, they answered back with two great passing plays and a huge run to cap off that drive. A timeout is called by Florida. And here's that run one more time. You see the big bodies in there. Jake Fessenden in there. Kenneth Colston in there. Chase Mancini in there. And able to create plenty of space for Delia to get in. And Delia able to score the touchdown. As a timeout called by Florida, a reminder, folks, that All-American Weekend will consist of the HBCU College All-American Game, the Blue Chip High School Senior All-American Game, and the National Underclassmen Showcase, all taking place at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas in January 2022. To nominate a player for the games, go to n-p-f-a.com. So Florida going to run the exact same play. Heavy set, out to the right. This time nowhere to go. Monte Gilliard carries it, and he is stopped short. So a field goal game. Correction, I'm sorry, it is 26-20, a 5-point game. So this is big. Georgia will have to have a touchdown. And we have one of the big men down, like he got his ankle rolled up on as he was hopping towards the sideline. And as the trainers take a look at that young man, we will step away here. You're watching SUV TV and the Underclassmen Showcase. Stay tuned. And welcome back to SUV TV and the Georgia versus Florida Underclassmen High School Showcase at the Feltram Sports Complex here in Haines City. I'm Graham McGowan. Been great having you along with us. And if you're just tuning in, you've missed a great fourth quarter, and there's plenty of drama left for you in the last 5:45 of this football game. Robert Hammond III will tee it up, and he will kick it off back to Georgia as they will look to answer with their own touchdown and a chance to take the lead once again. Ball taken at the 3-yard line. Has some space, runs right up the middle into the teeth of that kicking unit by Florida and dropped at the 25-yard line. Had some space out to the right, but he was pretty much committed to his route at that point all the way in. And again, a phenomenal job by our officiating crew. We did not get, unfortunately, as they came in today, their association where they were from as far as in the state or the name of of the crew. They did a fantastic job handling this game and everything that has come with it. So thank you to them. As Donovan Hoskins under center claps his hands it off, and fakes the handoff. Tries to lowers his shoulder across a 30-yard line and dropped. Hit by number 35. And a fantastic handoff by Hoskins, the fake handoff rather by Hoskins. Fooled everybody except for 35 on the defense. Lowered the shoulder, flipped him over. 3-yard gain, but could have been bigger. As Hoskins looks to the sideline. 4 receivers, 3 on the high left side. Low snap, still on the ground, able to pick it up. But a 5-yard loss back to the 25-yard line, and that'll put Georgia behind the chains. 3rd down and 12 for Team Georgia. Line to gain 37-yard line. And that low snap couldn't have come at a worse time. And Team Georgia will call a timeout. And they will talk it over on a 3rd and long. Showtime Prep is a post-grad academy that allows athletes an opportunity to take a postgraduate semester and enter into the next recruiting cycle. Players are able to strengthen their academics, SAT, ACT scores, and gain more game film. Showtime Prep is one of the least expensive postgraduate programs in the country. Located in Owings Mills, Maryland, 15 minutes from downtown Baltimore, 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. For more information, go to showtime-prep.com or follow them on Twitter at Showtime Prep. So out of timeout, 3rd down and long for Team Georgia. A clap of the hands, a low snap again, rolling to his left, looking downfield, turns the corner, and not sure what happened there. A little shovel pass, short shovel pass, a flag on the play, but he's a runner at that point. Huge hit by Caden Ingram, and we'll see what the flag is going to be. So that was a hit by Monte Gilliard, but that looked like shoulder-to-shoulder contact to me up here. So we're going to see what unless they're going to say it was an illegal forward pass, which that would make sense beyond the line of scrimmage. And they're going to call an illegal formation. So all a little bit confused up here. Again, the assumption would be that the tight end was covered up. But a 5-yard penalty on the offense. Likely going to be declined. And it is declined by Florida. So 4th down on the incomplete pass and a hard hit that Donovan Hoskins took. And Georgia has to make the decision with 4 minutes to go. Do you go for it this deep in your own territory? If you do, you run the risk of giving Florida a short field and enough time to put up one more score and put it out of reach. And they will put Trip Slayton out there, it looks like, to punt this football away. And I think that is the right choice to make at this point. Your defense has played phenomenally great. You get a sky-high punt, fielded muffed on the punt, and fortunately recovered as they had 2 return men back for a punt, something you don't normally see. And Jordavian Colbert almost was able to fall on that punt and get Georgia possession. Instead, everybody on the Florida sideline will breathe a sigh of relief, and Florida takes over at the 45. Just under 4 minutes remain in the Underclassmen Showcase. And what a day it has been for both of these teams. Jacavian Williams back under center. Ball security has to be something that he focuses on with this drive. Of course, a huge strip sack fumble earlier in the game. And cannot have a repeat of that this late into this football game. Quick snap, drops back, and he's going to move right up the middle. That was designed the entire way, just trying to get the defense to bite and get on their back foot, but great job of the linebacker staying home, crashing in the middle, and nowhere to go. Khalid Conway in on the tackle. Conway from Jeff Davis High School, 6'3", 225 pounds, a junior. looking to graduate next year. Three-step drop. Quick pass, and was intended for Urshad Jaycee. Well behind him. Fortunately, though, a forward pass, so incomplete rather than a live ball backwards pass. And football back to the 45-yard line. 3rd down and 9. And with these incompletions, the clock continues to stop. 3:07. Georgia with only a couple of timeouts remaining. So the key here has to be 1st down and keep the clock rolling. A 26-21 Florida lead. Low snap, rolls out to his right. That pass caught, but was he in bounds? Yes. Receiver was in bounds and good enough for a 1st down. Preston Martin with the grab. Great timing for that for the 6', 165-pounder from Kings Academy. The New Era Preps all 561 private team this year, 13 receptions, over 17 yards per catch and 5 touchdowns. And a great time for that one as he stayed in bounds. And the clock will run once the chains were set, which they are, and we are continuing to tick down the seconds. Precious seconds bleeding off. Georgia has to conserve timeouts and expect to see, I would think, a lot of ground game here by Florida. They're going to run an I formation, and can't say I'm surprised by this. Ground and pound. You're going to see a 4-3 set by the defense and runs into his own backer. But 25 stays on it, turning the corner, has room down the sideline, finally pushed out of bounds, and what a run by Sincere Edwards. What looked to be a botched play from the beginning was Sincere Edwards' coming out party as he just lowered the boom and ran right through the defense. The 6'3", 240-pound D lineman from Orangewood Christian High School, also played tight end for him this year, had 6 carries for 153 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 110 tackles, 32 sacks, leading the state of Florida in sacks. What a huge guy, and finally a chance to call his name today. Huge 1st down, even though the clock stops. Hand off to Edwards again, and he comes off of the right side, off the tackle. And a timeout immediately called by Team Georgia.
1:35 on the clock.
So 1:35 remains in this football game. Team Florida driving and a 5-point lead. And a thank you once again as you take a look at this huge run by Sincere Edwards. A huge thank you to sponsors of today's game, the Blue Chip High School All-American game. Again, to nominate a player for that game, go to n-p-f-a.com. And a reminder again, with NCAA granting athletes an extra year of eligibility, seniors are going to lose out on scholarship opportunities. So Showtime Prep, the Post-Grad Academy is a great option. Again, for more information, go to showtime-prep.com or follow them on Twitter at Showtime Prep. First down for Florida. Clock stops on the timeout. I formation once again. Steve Dilliard, the deep back. Williams with a thumbs up to the sideline. Hand off to Dilliard. Off the right side, pulled down, got a hand inside the face mask there, and it's a good flag by the referee as Dilliard came down, face mask, all the hand inside near the eyes and pulled him down. That's one reason why so many players, as you can see, wear those face guards. Those visors are a great way to get your eye poked. Within high school rules now, the offended team on a penalty inside of 2 minutes in the second and fourth quarter can determine if they want the clock to stop or to run. So, as it was a live ball, Florida would obviously elect to continue the clock to run, but that is something to keep in mind. If Georgia were the offended team, they could elect to have the clock stop to try and conserve those precious seconds. But as we get to 1 minute and 20 remaining and counting, this 5-point lead for Florida looks like it will hold up. Georgia, I believe they are out of timeouts now. First and goal. And Florida in victory formation as they are preparing. And there seems to be a lot of communication here between the officiating crew and the clock continuing to run here. So I'm not sure if this is just an agreed upon the game's over, let's go ahead and call it, or what we've got. But to see the officials in there and allowing the clock to continue to run is quite surprising to me. And now they finally stop it at 37 seconds. And it looks like, did Georgia call a timeout? As everyone is shaking their hands, it looks like they're going to go ahead and allow this clock to run, as everyone is dapping it up and saying a good game. And yeah, there still seems to be some confusion here as to what is going on as far as the end of the game here. The referees and the officiating crew deciding if they're going to call the game now or if they're going to go ahead and have everybody take a knee. 37 seconds remain on the clock, and the clock is stopped. As the headlinesman and our referee over on the Georgia sideline having a conversation. Coach Ori Farrell. I'm not sure where this seems to, what this seems to be. So the offense comes back onto the field, so there will still need to be one more kneel down, but not sure why it's taking this long. We don't want to hold off for going to breaks. That way we don't have to come back in or have anybody miss the final few seconds of this football game. And it seems as though finally the conversation has come to a close as the referee has walked away back to the main formation. Couldn't imagine they're going to put more time on the clock, but there is a conversation being had with the side judge, so they may be putting time back onto the clock.
What's the message? 1:55.
So they are putting, wow, 1 minute and 35 seconds back to the clock. So this is certainly something different. So I can't tell if, so are we at, so 1 minute and 50, so I can't tell, there seems to be confusion now. Are we at 1 minute 55 or just 55 seconds? So quite a bit of confusion here. So it's 55 seconds is the official time remaining on the clock. But I do not believe that Georgia has timeouts remaining. If they do, they should only have one. And that should be enough for Florida to kneel down. And there should be victory formation, a couple of kneel downs, and that should end the ball game. And Georgia is going to play a little bit of that Greg Schiano ball. If you remember from the early 2010s and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and a dive through the legs onto victory formation. So the clock will run. Should be one more snap, and that should end this football game. 26-21, and 30 seconds remain as the clock ticks down. And that is the final kneel down. So both teams will shake hands and meet in the middle of the field. A couple of somersaults and jumps, excitement from Michael Dole. So 26-21 is your final. What a fight by Georgia in the last part of this game. What a phenomenal fourth quarter. They came down to it, but in the end, Team Florida comes away with the Underclassmen Showcase victory. Team Georgia had the Senior Showcase victory, and in the end, all football fans are winners today. Thank you all for joining us here on SUV TV. I'm Graham McGowan. Have a great day. We'll see you back here next year at the Feltram Sports Complex on SUV TV.